Hi y'all, and welcome to the second episode of Criminally Creative. I'm your host Susan. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as @CriminallyCreativePodcast. Today is Tuesday, May 1st, and although I said I would podcast about every 2 weeks, it hasn't been 2 weeks yet, but Maryland Sheep and Wool's this weekend, so I figured I'd probably have a lot to talk about after that, and I don't want these to get too long if I can avoid it. So I have a lot of finished options to show, and I just didn't want everything to pile up. So first, let me thank those of you who watched the first episode and made nice comments, and particularly those of you who subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm still figuring a lot of things out and I have a lot to learn, but hopefully I'll get better as we go along, and I really appreciate you coming back. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, there's only one episode before this one, so you can easily catch up, and I hope you'll enjoy what you see. So let's get straight to the knitting, because court has been in session and a lot of verdicts are in. The first thing I want to show is my Impressionist Mystery Knit Along that I'm wearing. This is a Helen Stewart pattern. I'm going to strangle myself here. And I did this in yarn from Area Yarn Company. Again, I put all of my projects on Ravelry. I keep good notes on my project page as far as what yarn I use and how much I use. So I won't always repeat that, but you can go check out my project pages. This is a crescent shawl. It is actually quite long. Probably a little bigger than I would normally like to wear the way I was just wearing it, but that was kind of the easiest way to wear it and show it. I would probably actually wear this more around my shoulders with a shawl pin holding it on my shoulder when I wear it regularly. But I really enjoyed this knit along. I usually do enjoy Helen's knit alongs. This was, as the name shows, based on Impressionist painting, so it was intended to kind of blend together. And I apologize, my lighting is probably worse than usual tonight because it is nighttime. So that is my first finished object. I'm really happy with that one. The second finished object is my other other mystery knit along that I was doing, which was the Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust Mystery Knit Along by Lily Go. I knit this in, get the right side showing, Huckleberry Knits Singular. And Lily Go does a lot of twisted stitches. This also has some beads, which hopefully you can see. And I'm going to, when I get done showing all these, I will put some pictures in that show these completely as far as their shape and everything goes. But this also is another one that is very long, but it is not quite as deep, so I probably would still wear this kind of wrapped around my neck the way I have the one around my neck currently. So again, that was Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust by Lily Go, and it was knit in Huckleberry Knits Singular. The next finished object is, I finished a pair of socks. These are just what is my vanilla sock pattern, which is basically a toe up 60 stitch stockinette with a fish lips kiss heel. I do not typically do extremely long legs because they always fall down on me, and that just annoys me. So 3 to 4 inches is about my normal leg, unless I'm doing something like color work or something that has to be a certain length. These are knit from a sock blank from Gail's Art that was Yellowstone, which was from her last spring 3-month subscription. I think this was June, but I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. And now the pièce de résistance, is that how you say it? I never took French in high school. I took Spanish personally. And the main reason that I really wanted to podcast tonight is I finished my niece's first communion veil. And again, I'm not sure how well I can show this. I will try to put in a picture. But I have to take this over to their house tomorrow night, so I would no longer have it in my possession. And I did want to record and show it. You can see by how well you can see me through it how fine it is. This is knit in the Gossamer Web Phoenix, which is a cobweb weight yarn. I'm trying to show, and it has, I think you say it noops, N-U-P-P-S. I used to say nups all the time, but then I was told it was noops. I'm not really that concerned about it, but anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. As I mentioned last time, I guess design's the right word. Design these myself by putting together stitch patterns. I have done one for her two older sisters as well, and I've done all of them in kind of an Estonian lace knitting style with the noops. And so I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I will later on, I'll take the first communion is not this coming weekend, but the next weekend, and I will take some pictures of her wearing it to also show so that you can see kind of how it sits on the back of their head. But if you go back and watch the last episode, I put pictures in of Maddie and Kate wearing theirs for when I did those. So that was really kind of fast, I know, but that is all my finished objects for the week. And I have not worked on a whole lot else, but I did cast on the mystery knit along that I told you about last time that started last Friday. Have not made it very far. This is called Addiction by Subtraction, and it is by Tri-Stitchual Designs, which, as I understand it, is actually 3 designers. Not sure the best way to show this. I have this in a fat squirrel bag, and I am knitting it on US 5's 3.75 millimeter ChowGoo red lace interchangeables. Poke me not, as usual, and I really have not done very much at all. Whoops, I think that's the wrong side. So, but you can hopefully maybe kind of see how my colors are kind of playing together. So far I'm liking it. It has a neat little mystery story to go with it, and I just haven't had a lot of time to work on this week's clue because of Caroline's veil in particular. I needed to get finished, and I just finished it Sunday night and got it blocked last night. Although I will say y'all are very motivating for blocking stuff. I blocked Caroline's veil and both this shawl and the other shawl and my socks all last night, which is saying a lot because I still have a big bag in my closet of stuff I've finished over the last probably 3 years that is waiting to be blocked. Not to mention the pile of sweaters over here on the floor that need to be washed from the end of winter that I haven't gotten to yet. Sorry if that got a little jumpy. I had a little bit of a coughing fit there. It's that time of year with the pollen. So anyway, that's really the only thing I've worked on other than the finished objects I showed you since I last podcasted about a week ago. I will not always have so many finished objects, but because I tend to work on a lot of different whips a little bit at a time, I tend to go through spurts where I finish a lot of objects back to back, and then I may go 3 or 4 weeks or more without actually finishing anything. So I have cast on the sleeves for my coworker's sweater that I mentioned. I have knit maybe about that much, but they're started, so they can be worked on. And I plan to cast on a pair of socks this week to take with me to Maryland, but just so I'll have something smaller to walk around and knit with. I did want to show you, I went to let me take this off. I went to Great Yarns today, which is a yarn shop in Raleigh. A new owner bought it, Pam, who's worked there for a long time, bought it from the previous owner a few months ago. And I hadn't really been there recently, but I'd heard she'd gotten a lot of good new stuff. And I didn't go intending to buy yarn, which I did not buy yarn because I'm going to Maryland this weekend and probably will buy lots of yarn. But I couldn't resist buying this because they not only had my favorite stitch markers, which are made by Heidi and Lana, L-A-N-A. And they do have an Etsy store, and I've also seen them in a couple of yarn stores around me in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area. Great Yarns has them. Bella Filati and Southern Pines, I know, has them. What I like about them so much, and I'm going to try to show you without taking it off, is she puts the ends of the wire inside the ends of the bead. So, you know, a lot of those little round ones where they put the bead and they like kind of put a drop of glue under the bead over where the seam of the wire is. But inevitably, those beads always come loose and start sliding around the ring, and then you've got that little split of the wire that snags on everything. But because they put the ends of the wire in the holes on the sides of the beads, that doesn't happen. But what I was really excited about is Great Yarns also had this little leather bracelet with this little sheepy charm on it. That is designed. That's also, the bracelet is also from Heidi and Lana. That is designed to hold them. So I have, you know, of course I put it on today and wore it the rest of the day at work, even though I wasn't knitting. But that's just a handy little way to keep some stitch markers. I know it's real popular now to do the kind of knitting jewelry with the pendants with stitch markers and things like that, but that's not really my style. So this suits me a little bit better. So I was excited to find that today. But other than that, I've kind of been working on my wish list, I guess, for Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm trying to come up with some things that I'd like to, a couple of books I'd like to have, maybe some new tools. Trying to avoid the buy all the yarn mentality, although I know that there will be a lot of yarn bought, so I am really looking forward to that. So I am trying to keep this one short and sweet and a little less rambly than last time. So I think that is about it. I did start a Ravelry group called Criminally Creative Podcast, so I would love it if you would go and join the group. I started a thread over there for you to suggest to me what my next mystery series for my audiobooks for my commute should be. And I will start a thread for each episode in case you have particular questions about an episode or something. I haven't gotten around to show notes yet. As I said, I do keep good project pages for everything I work on. If anything else I mention that you don't catch, feel free to post a question in the thread that I create on Ravelry. I'm also working on creating a website where the episodes will actually be posted, and I probably may put some show notes over there. I'm just kind of feeling my way as I go, and we'll see what happens. One thing I am looking forward to at Maryland Sheep and Wool is I believe they are doing a podcasters meetup on Saturday afternoon. And while I have no illusions that anybody would actually want to meet me at this point, because I think only people who already knew me in real life have watched this, I'm looking forward to actually meeting a few other podcasts and maybe getting some tips and tricks on lighting and maybe some software to edit and things like that. Right now I'm using just what's on my Windows computer, and that's very limited, but I just don't know enough about the options out there to figure out what I should put a little bit of money into. So I'm excited about that and looking forward to that, and hopefully I will be back in another couple weeks with lots of fun stories from what happened at Maryland, maybe. And maybe a few goodies to show. Like I said, I probably won't show you everything, but I'm sure there will be some highlights that I want to share, and who knows, I may just decide to show it all to you. So I hope y'all have a great week or two, and if you're at Maryland and you do happen to see me and I don't know you already, please feel free to say hello. I'm always happy to meet new people. I hope you come back again next time. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.